We're on theme. Just we're going to do a couple minutes, come up, talk about what you learned, what your game is. We're going to cycle through them. We've got a camera kind of trained on this spot, so we're streaming, and I'm hearing myself talk now. So there's a camera aimed at this spot. Come up and talk loud so the microphone can grab you, and then you should be able to plug into both of these if you want to share your game. We're going to start with Rob. And I think also, by the way, probably, I don't know if it'll be in 2 weeks or maybe next month, we're going to try to set up a showcase for games if you guys want to go out and show them to Albuquerque, or maybe we'll just do it here for the next AGDG meetup. But yeah, Rob, do you want to show what you did?
So my name is Rob Garner, and actually I'll go this way. And we made a game called Ghost Bouncer, and the idea is, well, let me get this scene up. My sound's not up. It's not coming through. Yeah.
Oh, there's an extra audio cable there.
That's special. Let's do it this way. Hopefully this will pick it up.
A little bit. It's good.
So our game is called Ghost Bouncer, and you're at this party where you have this guest list with 10 ghosts which are invited. And your job is to find the ones that aren't, and using a vacuum cleaner, pick up the ones that aren't. And basically use the vacuum cleaner to bounce off anyone but the 10 that are there. So all you have to do is memorize 10 things and find them and make sure you don't vacuum them up. If you do, then after a certain point they get annoyed and you get kicked out of your job as a bouncer. Yes. Playability maybe need to balance a little bit. And so the programmers were Kim Hyun, Rob Garner, myself, Jack Hansen, and Michael White was our 3D modeler. Any questions? And that's it. Yes.
With Halloween coming up, are you going to hurry up and get this on the marketplace?
Yes, absolutely. We're going to probably establish a company and make it amazing with about 1,500 levels and have it ready by October 30th. Or we'll try to get this one level to not be to actually function and have it on itch.io. Yes. The music was, I found Creative Commons Halloween Mix by Irene Ribble. Yes.
So, for the 10 people who are, or the 10 ghosts that are invited, is there like a pool greater than that and they're sort of randomized, or is it those 10 every time so far?
You want to explain it, John?
Ooh, well, okay. Perfect. Excellent.
And we're trying to use cloth, Unity cloth, to make the ghosts, and we got that model working, but we couldn't get it implemented in time. Yeah, and you figure out a way to get the 2D shapes on the faces of them. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I don't know. We'll find out. We might. I like the music. Oh, yeah, sure. Let's see, the full mansion.
Is this the basement? No, that's it's the ballroom area, the lobby. There's like 10 rooms in there. It's not
So we got a nice little, get out of the way. We got a nice little upstairs area with some tables. We need to scale it a little bit, I think. The doors are a little bit low. This area has a secret door, which we are a little bit too tall to get through. But and then there's a nice little bedroom. Let's see, with some windows. I had a terrain out there, but it used up a lot of processing power on my Surface 3, so I had to remove that. And then a library. So you get the idea.
Cool. Thanks,
Cool.
guys.
Thanks.
Christina, Aaron, Martin.
Hello, I'm Aaron. This is Martin, Christina. We made this board game, RSVP to Die. And in this game, we are cultists under the elder god Dekazin, and we are trying to make sacrifices to our elder god to awaken him. I'm going to read you kind of the intro little blurb. 10 sacrifices will satisfy Dekazin, awaken the god, and you shall be rewarded with power beyond the human imagination. You've been preparing for the arrival of Dekazin. 10 sacrifices? Easy. However, there's a catch. All 10 sacrifices must be made in the same night. The stack of RSVPs are on your desk. The party will begin tonight, as will the sacrifices. Little did they know, they RSVP'd to die. So in this game, it's a cooperative game, so we are the cultists going around, and we are playing cards down in ascending or descending order to try to move, sacrifice, draw additional cards, or distract guests to get them in and out of different rooms. If we don't play them in ascending or descending order, the game gets mad at us and yells at us through the game mechanics. Whenever that happens, we will draw a card, and whatever it says on the side, move. The NPCs move around the mansion in a randomized manner. The NPCs can move, they can get added to the board, they can force us to discard cards from our hand, or they can cause us to play these evil event cards, which are generally bad. We choose which cultist we want to be of these 4 colors. And we have about 8 missions right now that are playable. This right here is the end of the first mission, which I don't think we have a name for.
No, we don't.
Huh. That's interesting. The first mission has a little flavor text when you start the mission. They've arrived. The party's getting in full swing. Isolated the guests one at a time. Seems like the best option. And then we have 8 additional missions. Mission 2, life of the party. Mission 3, get those ruffians out of here. Mission 4, curse that fool's blind luck. 5, youth of the nation. 6, those blasted interlopers. 7, revolving door. 8, skeletons in the closet. And when you open one of these, you get cards that you add to the different decks, or cards that go out and cause global effects that go on throughout each of the different missions. So it gets harder as you play, like through the different missions.
Yeah, and as the discards reach 10, and like we said earlier, the NPCs can actually cause the players to discard. And so as the players continue to discard, eventually when they get to 10, a bad effect happens and we move up a party intensity meter. The party intensity meter drives how many cards you can draw. Well, you have to draw, rather. Well, discard, rather. And then, what else does it do?
So how many, or what NPCs move, and how many
NPCs are on the board.
spaces, how many you add to a specific space.
And how many
all-
move, yeah.
How many discard, and the last one is mingle. Each of the mingle cards, well, a lot of the mingle cards, thank you, care about the Doom track, so it gets harder the further you go along. And that's basically it. If you ever go in the opposite order, ascending, descending, you have to draw and do bad stuff to us. And if we ever deck out, then the party's intensity goes back up, and again, we draw more cards and shuffle everything and create a new deck. And
It's a 3-player game?
2 to 4. 2 to 4. Yep. I mean, theoretically, it might do 5, but we don't have a role for a 5th
Yeah,
player.
and we're actually going to have 10 missions, but we're only able to get up to 8 in the time frame. So.
We have 9, but we didn't write up the 9th one. Jay.
Would you read us 2 or 3 of your cards from your standard deck? I just want to see what the cards are.
Oh, like as far as like the Mangle cards?
Oh, the ones that do bad things?
The ones that the players can play.
Oh, most of those are just a number.
So the deck consists of it's a 100-card deck, numbered 1 to 100, with an ability for the NPC, which either says move, mingle, discard. Discard will either say up or down. If you do a discard and it says up, this is a 67. All players as a group must discard a card, or discard cards equal to the Doom track that are 67 or higher. Let's see.
And the last one should be add.
Add is you just roll the d12. There's 12 locations. 3, you add people to this equal to the Doom track. So if there's Doom tracks up there, you're adding a lot of people every turn. The way you lose, because these are very common in co-op games, there's usually a ton of them. We've got 2. If you ever go to add people, and you pull or move, and you pull out less than you are supposed to move from this bag, either because they're all out here or whatever, you lose.
So you run out of cubes.
Or in the unlikely event that this gets to here and hasn't killed you yet.
Yeah, the party intensity meter goes up to 10. Game over.
Yep. And that's it. You either win or you die trying. Yes.
The NPCs move randomly. How do you do that?
Okay, so you see how there's arrows on the board? So if you've got in 9 here, which is this one, they move to 6. And the way it works is, so we're at Doom 4 at the end of this game. I'll draw 4 cubes, 2 blue and a black and a pink, which means blue moves twice, black moves once, and pink moves once. So we just go blue, 1, 2, 1, 2.
They all have
black,
a Conga ladder
one.
on the board.
Yeah, and they all have a thing that goes basically starts foyer, goes all the way around. Wait. And yeah. Jay.
Can you give us a brief summary of the process you used, like how you thought of it, play test, and how did you?
You remember at the beginning where I said that one of my favorite games to play right now is The Mind? The Mind is a game where you have a deck of cards 1 to 100, but you have to play the cards in ascending order without talking to each other. And so you're kind of like inching it closer, and whoever has the most, like, you play it. And there's also a game that came out that also uses deck 1 to 100 called The Game, at which point you're trying to discard all your cards from your hands. 2 sacks go up, 2 sacks go down. And so those were a lot of inspiration for this. We just thought we'd take that core engine and build a co-op game out of it, or an actual like strategic co-op game.
Yeah, and the playtest was pretty much playtest. We didn't like this, didn't like this, didn't like this. We need to change this. Playtest again, and just it was constant playtest.
Just iteration the entire time.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you play the game?
Well, to set up the game. Oh, and one other thing with the sacrifice, you could lay traps. But you set up the game by pre-populating the cubes on the board, and you basically you just let the engine run itself, and you try to beat the engine.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Huh?
Yeah, it plays itself, and you kind of just respond.
It kind of plays me too.
Yeah. No more questions?
Anything else?
Cool.
All right. Thank you.
I'm going to need a volunteer or a victim to play this game with me.
I've already played it, so if you haven't played it.
Haven't played it? You both can play if you would like.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, there you go.
Alright.
Alright, so here you go. That is the wrong part.
We should really find out how to turn the sound system on off.
Alright, can we see anything? Peter never likes this projector.
Is your computer duplicating its display to the hooked up monitor?
Yeah,
'Cause
it
the monitor
should
went
be-
black. So
No, it
plug
went
that in.
black. Okay, so that.
You might have the wrong
Doesn't ever get on.
You want to try it on mine, Don?
Yeah, you have the. You do. I think.
What's that?
Try it on
He
his.
has the game?
He does have it on.
It's a bummer, because Joel swapped out the HDMI.
Well, it's never worked. Or like twice.
We're gonna find out that it splices to a different HDMI cable to make this
Controllers?
Bet you.
Where's the other controller?
That's right.
This might be loud. Sorry. What resolution is that thing? It's HD?
I don't know. I mean, that should work, I think.
Sure. See what happens.
No, doesn't quite fit. Well, it's close enough, actually.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's close.
I think we should.
go for it.
Okay, so this is my poorly named game, Grapple Ball. You
guys remember?
I wanted to create a game where you like use the grappling hook to kind of move around. I sort of did that.
I don't know how to grapple.
I'm not sure either.
So use the left stick to control the ships. And so to keep it 10, I was going to do 10 network players, but that didn't work at all. So instead I have 2 players and each control 5 ships. So you use the left stick to steer, I'll use the right one to aim, and then use the right trigger to send out your little grappling hook. And the object is you're trying to get that star into the goals. So it's kind of like hockey. So use the right trigger. Oh, you have to point the stick and hit the right trigger at the same time. It's really, okay. Yeah, so you want to grab the star and try to pull it onto the other team's side. So I found this crazy epic music that I was like, hey, it sounds good. Not really much to say other than I tried using Unity's networking. At first it looked
Okay.
At first it looked like it was going to work pretty well, and then once I got
and then press the trigger at the same time.
it worked. It was so laggy I couldn't use it at all.
The right
I didn't
stick.
feel like
The right
and the right
stick. Oh,
trigger.
right
Triple
stick
H
and
worked,
right trigger?
so.
Yeah, you have to be aiming when you press the trigger.
So this is pretty much what I have.
I think I can hit the star and move it now.
Oh, and there's kind of a skill element involved that if you grapple the star, you get about 1 second to try to grapple it again, so it'll stick before it lets go. So you can try to get a second or third one to attach to it.
Ooh, what?
Ah.
I don't know if that's true. Oh no, I'm bouncing around.
So it's basically just pure chaos. There is no end to the game either. I thought about making it end at 10 points, but I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
That's cool. Look, I can go. Mine. It's mine. That's awesome.
No.
What the heck was that? No, whatever. It was just
Yeah, it's surprisingly difficult to control.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Go, little guy. Go.
So have you thought about adding like a retract, like for left trigger, like sucks you in or something like that?
maybe. Could be interesting. There's really, I think, a lot I could do to make this more fun, but in the end, I was trying not to make an exact clone of Ben's game Super Tugboat, but it kind of ended up being like that anyway.
You can make it.
Anyway, any other questions? Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, John.
So for our game, we basically kind of came up with the idea of creating a 10-lane MOBA. That was the initial plan. It sort of turned into that, kind of slash that, and also a tower defense game to an extent, but not, except in this case, it was more just a matter of kind of just trying to see if you could block your opponent's units coming at you with your own units. And so that was, so right now we have it where certain lanes function up to an extent, and others are still a little buggy, but once
They all work, but so we made it so that you spawn using the thing, and then they'll go down the lane, and then an AI will send things down the lane also to try and kill your things. And we originally wanted to do a 10-lane MOBA, but that wasn't going to happen. And then they go and kill each other, and then once they get to the ends, they will deal damage to the other person. So the AI has 90 health, and we have 94, so they add 1 type thing, and that's kind of what we got.
And then each of those boxes, I guess, are like different kinds of
They're
units?
how strong they are.
Okay.
So we have like a weak unit, normal unit, and a strong unit, and each unit is worth so many points. So
Gotcha.
yeah, well, the weakest units are like you think you have.
They're 2, 4, and 6.
Yeah.
How much they're worth.
Yeah. So.
Is there any way to evade the AI that's coming at you, or are you just doomed if you die?
You're just doomed if the AI got built in like a few minutes because we didn't even know if we'd get it playable.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Do you choose what units you throw down the
Yes.
lane? Okay.
So when you are doing it,
So yeah, at the very beginning, right here, you can.
so the first row is 2, second row is 4, third row is 6.
Yeah, and on the buttons on the
And-
this side are adding units. The buttons on the other side are subtracting units of each one of the
And when
buttons.
you
So-
add, you get minus how strong it is to your minion count. So I did a strong unit on the left, so it should do 6 damage altogether. So I should win this one. Should. Any other questions?
I'm sorry, there's a question over here? Or? Oh.
Can you tell me what game engine you used?
Unity.
And what approach you used? Because I saw you here a lot, I think, but not you. How did you coordinate your efforts?
So we were using Unity, and we use Azure to transfer our stuff between us.
Yeah, and we were also using Discord, which is as a way to
talk and
communicate
ask
back and forth
questions
between each
and
other.
stuff.
Yeah, so, and we could also use the screen share if we need to show what we were seeing on our end in case something we saw something that somebody else didn't a lot more easily. So, yep. Hmm?
Got a low-tech presentation. Yesterday, around 4 o'clock, I was trying to problem solve just like a really basic fundamental problem in my game. And about the time I figured out what I was going to need to do, I realized that I could either ditch the whole project and start something that was going to be like more manageable, or I could spend the rest of the game jam just learning how to do this new thing. So that's what I did. This is more of a talk for like posterity's sake and like, oh, this is the problem I had. This is how I solved it. So the game was called Mount 10. And basically what it is you are an intrepid mountain climber trying to climb ever more challenging and taller mountains. Mountains are divided into 10 layers, and each layer has a certain number of segments equal to like the level you're on, basically. So a level 1 mountain would look like this, with like 1 segment per each layer, and a level 4 mountain, each layer would have 4 segments. So a 8th level mountain would have 8 segments per layer. So it goes up by 10 each time. The problem that I encountered was I really wanted to have 2D graphics moving around in a 3D environment, specifically around a completely circular mountain. So it's more like a cone than anything else. And that ended up being a problem. I went through like 4 different solutions trying to figure this out, where eventually I was like, okay, I need to have a player that moves around just in a circle. So what if I have some sort of central pivot point that the player moves around? And I was trying to make it in Unreal Engine, and Unreal Engine was like, well, we can have stuff orbit your player, but not necessarily your player orbit around other objects. And I was like, okay, well, what if I try it this way? What if I try it this way, try it this way? And like I said, it was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday where I finally found a solution that I was like, this is probably the most sustainable way to build a whole game, which involved using splines, but I didn't know anything about splines. So then I just started diving into tutorials and stuff and learning how to use them. The challenging part being the fact that it's just trying to create essentially 2D movement that has to update and be applicable in a 3D environment, which is hard. But I figured it out. So basically my intention now is actually just keep working on it, and maybe at the next AGD meeting, which is really difficult to say fast, show off what I can do. Because all of the other parts, such as like picking up power-ups and stuff and getting the tools you need in order to climb the mountain, was all stuff I had done before. It's like it's very easy to have a character overlap something else and then pick it up and be like, oh, you now have +1 rope in your inventory. So I thought this was going to be really, really easy, sans the critical flaw that made everything hard. But we'll see what I can pull up then. So far, I can say that what I know now and what I was building today, just like applying what I had learned, there were a couple really cool, interesting like mechanics that I didn't notice or didn't account for as I was building it. For example, at the base of the mountain, the discs that you're orbiting around are the largest. So the distance between your goals, and your threats in order to climb is very large. But as you start going up and the circumference gets smaller and smaller, the distance between your goals and your threats starts getting smaller. So it was just interesting to see all of that start coming together once I finally got the game functioning in its like base most way. But I didn't want to bring my computer back just to show you. It's like, I've now gotten gray shapes to bump into other gray shapes. It's fantastic. But that was what I learned, is just splines. They're nifty. And tackle problems if you have them. Don't back down. Grr. Questions, thoughts?
Do you think you're going to keep going with your game idea? You want to present it?
Yeah. I'm going to keep going with it because there's a lot of fun ideas. And like I said, is that everything I thought was going to be, I actually thought I was going to finish early. Because all of the, I guess, I don't know, mechanics and everything are really, really simple. Like, okay, so if there's a layer that is 5 segments tall, I need to make sure that somewhere in that layer spawns 5 pieces of rope. You can get all of those, throw up a rope, and then you get to go on to the next one. Easy. It's just like simple power-ups. You have a threat that's like a Yeti roaming around the mountain, and you just need to avoid the Yeti. Easy. All stuff I've done before. So I thought it was going to be really, really easy. It was just like the basic movement turned out to be impossible. So now that I've got that sorted out, all of the other like sort of aesthetic parts should be easy to like start hammering out really, really quickly. Give me another 48 hours and the binge fest and I can maybe do something. But yeah, I do want to continue and I do want to show it off next time. I see some of you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Destry.
No problem.
Lori and Dean. Yes, you're on
and I got them to do my idea. So the name of the game is when 10, like a 1, 0, is not 10, like T-E-N. So when 10 is not 10. So you'll get the gist of the game in a little bit as we go. I will say I am so happy to have worked with this whole group. Everybody worked so well together. Each of us had our own little expertise and didn't know other things, but we all came together to create something. And each one of them will introduce themselves and tell you which part they did. I would say the biggest obstacle we came over, but I really enjoyed working with Connor figuring this out, is when caret is not exponential. So our basis of the game, it's educational. We're talking about different bases. So base 10, base 5, base 2, base 16, base 8. So as you know, in base 2, what is 1, 0? In base 2. 1, 0 is the number. In base 10, the number 3. So what is 1, 0 in base 16? 16, right? It's not 10, it's 16. So the concept is when 10, 1, 0 is not 10. And he created a great algorithm to allow us to use the same function to convert between all different bases to the 1. So when you see these different rooms, it's the same code running in every room. He's just passing which base we're working in. And it's the same little section of code. But we probably spent 4 hours.
Yeah. So there's I didn't know the syntax in GameMaker, and I tried to use the caret symbol to raise something to a power of something else, and it did some other bitwise operation.
It's an exclusive or bitwise operation. So when he did 5 squared to get 25 for that place, he did 5 caret 2, and instead of getting 25, he got
I think it was 7.
7.
Now,
He did an exclusive OR on the 2 binary forms.
now the
So.
bug that really kept me working was actually unrelated, which was that GameMaker is extremely slow at handling strings of characters and concatenating them, like sticking them together. I got some kind of overflow error for trying to do too many things to a string within a single frame, I guess. I'm still unclear exactly what it did, but it hit somewhere else in memory and made the graphics mess up.
And he could not get over the graphics
really
being messed up. I said, we got to get by this, dude. Let's just keep programming it.
Well, it hit like
It's
the one
graphics.
game mechanic
Yeah.
that made the game work.
I should show them.
So he's going to be able to show you.
So we're gonna go to the tent where we're counting
Okay,
in
so-
base 5.
Okay, so we're in space. All right, so you're a
Okay.
guy.
Yeah. Sorry.
So we have 10 fingers, which is why we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then so we count in base 10. But then there's other aliens that have different numbers of digits, so then they count numbers completely different. So that's where the whole bases come in. So you're in an area where you need to purchase. He had this great idea.
Purchase things that we can use to repair our spaceship.
Right. So you're stranded on a planet where there's this marketplace where you have to buy a list of objects from different aliens, and so you have to use their form of currency. And the idea is to get people thinking in counting with base 5 or in base 2, which is binary. So.
And is the music ready
And
too?
I-
So when he enters
Oh, is
the
this
room, you
base
can hear
five?
the
Yeah,
music? Okay.
I did the programming and put all of it together in GameMaker. And Brooks made music, which
samples.
is not in the game at the moment, but we wanted to show it off.
And when you listen to this music,
Brian
you
helped me
should
make a lot of
hear-
artwork.
Yeah,
That
this
was
is the artist.
great.
Here's a storyline. When you hear this music, he focused on the idea that you're in a base 2 world, you're in a base 5
if we go to the tent that says 5, base 5, okay, so this is the Game Maker project, but our game. So, let's see. In base 5, when we're counting up, this is worth $1. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we only have 5 digits, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when you get to 4, and then you go past 4, we put 1 in the next place, and a 0. So that's 10 in base 5 is.
So 10 is not
that
10.
many.
10 is 5. So hence
And I
the name
can
of the game, when 10
move
is
these
not 10.
and take them off again. So if I add 10 to that, I get 20. But 20 minus 1 is 14, right?
Can anybody know what 21 is in base, or what is it you're headed for? 20.
We need to buy something that costs $17 in base 10. So our premise was the shopkeeper wrote his prices in human numbers.
So we can assess
But
value. So
we still have to
understand the
pay
value
him
that we're
in
buying.
his base 5 currency. So we need to say we need to give him $17 counting in base 5. So we're gonna go, so each one of these is worth 5, right? So we're gonna say 1, 2, 3. So now we have 30, which is
15.
the same as 15 in base 10. And then we need 2 more, and we should be able to buy a burger. Okay.
They don't give change.
And
so
then,
if you don't get the right exact amount, you won't get the piece that you want.
If we go into base 2, and Brian made some pretty cool aliens. Not all of them are in here yet, but so 17 in base 2 was, I think we decided it was 10001.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and buy this burger. So we're counting up in binary by 2 at a time, and then 1 more, and then that's. And we've got a human shop that actually uses dollars, so we can actually.
When you need a hamburger, you
So
can
this
just
is
deal with base 10.
is actually in base 10.
And that's a 10-sided star for the coin. The base 2 had a moon, which was a 2-sided coin.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Base 5 has a 5-sided coin. So you understand which currency you're working with, so you get a visual.
And I wanted to show the little project here because you can see how I've laid out the scenes here in Game Maker, and it's really like I learned a lot from having to program this. And aside from like the errors we had, I still think this is a great tool because of how I can lay out all these scenes. And we'd love for all of the shops to look different. As you can see, I have invisible objects that are clickable for the marketplace and stuff like that. And we have some different characters that Brian made. So we're gonna have a shop where you have to buy something using base 16.
Well, that's where he's from, right? Four hands and 4 fingers. He must be the base 16 guy.
So we had the characters 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. And then after F is 10. And that's how you count in base 16, which is also called the hexadecimal. And you might have seen that in color codes on websites. So it's got 16 digits. So and since we go above 10 digits, we have to use letters. But that part is currently broken. So it's not. It's actually here, but it's hidden because it's broken. So I can't actually show off some of the bugs that we ran into when you get above 9 digits. I think. Hold on. So right here, see, I'm not using the letters because they're broken. So.
But that worked on the dots between them. That was a good
And this
job.
is a work in progress, like in shopping list, but it does not work. So I think that's all I have.
Yeah, the concept is
in
the
my
shopping list will come
demo.
from the items available, but that'll be randomized. And then the prices that are on the items in the stores will be randomized. And as levels increase, the dollar, or like the numbers assigned to them, can be higher to cause you to have to know more complex to really understand it. Initially, the costs are real low, like 3 and 17 and 20 small numbers until you can get your, and then they'll be randomized later. So those are the two variable parts of the program: what you need to get and how much things will cost.
Did you guys introduce yourselves? I think we're a little out of order, but
We did.
No, you didn't say anything.
I'm Alistair.
I was Lori.
Brian.
Brooks.
and Connor. Okay.
All right, Justice and Jericho.
Thank you very much.
Go ahead and put it in. There's the HDMI cable. Where's the HDMI cable to plug them in? Is it? No, that's the audio, isn't it? That's the audio.
That's the sound.
Yeah. And away. We're just getting her. They're separate, but it takes me a little while to get logged in. Yeah, I don't know where the cable is. Oh, here it is. There you go. So stand up and say what your name is and the game you love.
I am Jericho, and I made a game called 10 Squared.
Do you want to say what you programmed it in?
I programmed it in Scratch, and it's my first time programming anything, so.
You want to show the gameplay? You can describe it as you play.
Here's the first level. You have 10.
Just watch this one. That's what's up there.
You have 10 moves to complete the level. You go over 10, you lose. There are 5 levels. If you lose, you have to restart.
How does the movement work? Describe.
You move with the arrow keys.
And what happens with each press? Is it like sliding? Nice.
You move until you hit black or the color to complete the level.
You do have music, don't you? You wrote music for it. Let's see if we can plug that in. Is the music playing? No, leave that. Is the music playing? Tell them about your music.
I did it all myself.
Yeah, but it's over here. Tell about the music and what you use. So he composed the music himself using Beatbox. He made his graphics using PowerPoint and Paint and brought them into Scratch. So what else did you learn? Those are new things then, right? Yeah, I don't know why we're not getting audio, but he did right. I think you all heard the music during the during the jam, since he didn't have headphones. But he did a good job.
Sometimes the HDMI takes the audio.
Yeah, it may have, and it wasn't coming through, so. Let's get okay. Maybe if we unplug that, if you play it, does the music work? Maybe you can just keep does music play now? 'Cause you're gonna And he wrote 2 songs and he alternates the songs between levels.
Some levels. I believe the first one you can do it under 10, and all the others you have to do it in 10. So, yes.
You said you never programmed anything before. How was it? Did you have any like problems that you learned about, or how was it doing it for the first time?
It was confusing. Yeah. Yes.
Will you be back to make more games at some point?
Hopefully.
Awesome.
All right.
No, it's my computer takes forever and a day.
So, my name is Justice. This is actually my second time at a game jam. So, although the first time I went, I programmed in Scratch and I did the art for a game. I was on a team, and this time I played it solo. So, the theme of this game jam was 10, and so I went with the title of 10 Kingdoms, 10 Stories. And so,
Down here. Okay, go ahead.
sorry. And so, basically what I worked on this weekend was just a demo. So it's the first part of the first person's story. And I programmed it in RPG Maker, and it was a learning curve for me because it was a brand new type of RPG Maker that I haven't used before. So I had a lot to learn, and I've learned a lot, and there's still a lot more for me to learn. And if it weren't for Ben, right? If it weren't for Ben, I would not have gotten as far as I did. So, yeah, as soon as we get it pulled up, I'll kind of show you. If we can get it pulled up.
Is it web browser based? I don't know, maybe we can put someone else up. I may have a faulty port.
No, I don't have it posted anywhere yet.
Sometimes Windows will have a function key at the top that says like
it's still also just trying to get.
Oh, it's booting up.
I tried hibernating sleep and make sure it didn't do stuff, but because my battery doesn't work when it's unplugged, it's just, so we can let someone else go while we continue to try to get her online.
Sure. Sometimes one of these will send it. Yeah. So this.
Oh,
But-
and it's gone.
See?
So this button here will send it to the monitor to refresh it.
I think it's my port.
Oh.
Okay,
You got it.
okay. So now, do you know what to do here? I'll just hold it.
Balance with it.
I'll just hold it and hopefully it'll stay.
All right, guys.
Obviously, it's time for a new computer.
Steam is. Yeah, maybe.
Lori, if you want, I can.
Yeah, you can go with somebody else right now until we can actually get this.
I'll just show my game real quickly.
We may not be connected to the internet, but make sure we are. Well, get it. It's loading up, right? Yeah. There it is, though. Yeah. Hey, Jack, could you come up here, please? Maybe you can try your magic. I mean, I'm connecting it to the right thing, right?
Whoever else is using it.
I know, but my port's messed up. I need to go check the other end. She may just have to swing it around and show it on the screen. At least it's a big screen. HDMI not supported. Okay. I think she'll just swing the thing around to show you. It's just the message said HDMI not supported. So go ahead and just don't unplug
Let me
it.
pull up the project. Here. Yeah, I got some. Okay. Yeah, come in. Come on.
Just maybe the wrong port.
I'm just gonna replug
Try
this
that.
then.
I'll try the next one.
All right. You guys want me to read this out loud? Or can you guys see it well?
I think it's good.
Yeah. And that's actually a reference to another RPG game. So. And then I gotta move this so it's a little more, it draws more attention, because this is the tutorial on how to get to your inventory and stuff. And then that's pretty much it for his room. And then I've got stuff hidden all over the kitchen and stuff. So, I guess, and everybody plays RPGs different. So, the way I put it how I would play it, but I found from letting other people play it that everybody plays it different, so I gotta do things a little different than how I normally would. Yeah, hold on, I'm not there. And so basically, this is pretty much the only storyline I've got in here. And so, something that was pointed out to me is like hidden areas. So most people wouldn't really think to come all the way over here because she tells you to go to the town, right? So most people just go over the bridge, but I found out about like hidden areas today. So that was cool. And so if you come over here and stuff, there's like graves and stuff for his mother and father. And it was just a cool idea. And so there's actually later on in the game, not in the demo, but later on in the game, you'd find out more about his parents and stuff in the past. And so, yeah. Earlier in the kitchen, you climbed into the stove and got covered in soot. So if you come out here and click on the wash bucket, you get cleaned up. Oh, I keep having these in here double, and I don't know why.
Hidden treasure.
And so, oh, sorry. This is the last area. Aww. And so this is kind of where you're gonna run into your battles and stuff. See if I can hit any. Maybe not. And so, for the demo, you get a little bit more backstory in this area. Yeah.
So you're gonna have 10 worlds, or 10...
10 kingdoms and 10 characters, yeah.
10 characters and 10 kingdoms.
Yeah. And basically, it'll all connect somehow in the end. I haven't quite gotten that far. But, yeah.
Octopath was ambitious.
That was I had the exact same thought.
Okay, so
It is a
Lori,
big number.
yeah, Lori really liked this. I just kind of added this in for fun. Since the theme was 10, I thought this was just kind of fun to put in here. So, and then, yeah.
She went to a bookcase and pulled a book down and it says...
Hold on, I'm on a different book now. So you find a book about the number 10. It says, 10 was 10. What a beautiful number. 10, the perfect amount, the perfect number. I loved the number 10. And so that was just kind of fun.
And then if you like, I've got stuff all over the place. So, yeah.
You like working with this RPG Maker?
I do. I didn't know that I would, because it's been a long time since I've programmed in this, but I really actually enjoyed it and I learned a lot. There we go. So this is bad because I didn't actually come in here with the proper utensils and stuff.
That's a good moment in the game. It's like, I can take these guys,
Yeah.
no problem.
There goes my potion.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, I guess. I guess.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, so while I was testing out her demo, I was getting some secret items, and since I was button mashing, I accidentally clicked on it twice, and I found out that I could get an infinite amount of that item. So
That's a good one.
I
Good
fixed
discovery.
it. I fixed it. So, but that is my demo.
The importance of testing.
Why did you take out so many glitches? Glitches are fun.
Sometimes that happens, and
Yeah,
then
no,
they
I
fry
know what you're
everybody
talking about.
Windows. Like anybody with Windows.
And then you have to
doesn't
reset
let
it.
all the Windows people go through it.
Yeah, maybe.
That could be what happened. 'Cause
All right,
the project-
so I'm gonna give my game really quickly, and I'm the last one, and then I've got 2 videos that I'm gonna play from the Las Cruces site from some other folks' games. I will just show you quickly. The way I ran with the theme was I made a game called Mole Station. So in this game, you are a herd or pack, I don't know what. You're 10 moles, anyways. Oh, I'm not getting sound. Oh, I know why. No, I don't know why I'm not. Hold on. There's actually not much sound to this, so it might not matter. Just go into your audience settings and make sure that it's coming out of the speakers. There it is.
I had loaded.
Oh, okay. I used a program called Tick80 that gets you a little miniature development environment that has a code editor, and then a sprite editor in it, and a map editor also in it. Anyways, back to the game. You're what did we decide? A murder of moles?
Yeah.
So you don't actually control a single mole, but you kind of move and they all move as a group. I don't know. It doesn't matter. There's some weird lag going on there. Wait. I think I might be getting the stream on here also. Sorry about that.
Excellent.
It doesn't really matter. So you go around, you collect these gems. There's different obstacles, like those things will run you over. These guys will attack you. I'll get run over here in a second. The object of the game is to go around to all the Plinko stations and play Plinko. So this guy is the union boss. He says, "Oi, hey lads, bring me 5 high score tokens and you can have your mines back." I love being a corrupt union rep. Anyway, so you collect enough of the gems and then you go over and play at the Plinko stations. Let's see if I can actually do it. It's so weird. Okay. Anyways, each Plinko station's different. This one's like the classic one, and you just every gem that you pick up in the world, you can then use at the station, and you drop it into it. And you have to get a score of 2,000 to get the gem from the station. There's 5 stations, so you beat all 5 of them. You take them back to the guy, and he says, "Good job." And that's pretty much it. Any questions? Here, I'll get run over for you, Brian.
So sad. I love them.
So there you go. They're getting run over. When you get down to 1, you still can't control it directly, so it like kind of moves around really vaguely. Oh, so that's the sound of the Plinko machine. So this is an area where there's like these cannons that shoot at you. So I just got in a couple of different obstacles, and I got the little mini game, and that's kind of all I really set out to do. The main game, right? The Plinko is the main game. This is the mini game. And unless there are any questions, I will go to the videos. Good? Okay. So this is the first one from Las Cruces. It's called Code 10R Royale. What the heck? Like, I turned that thing off. I don't understand. Okay, let's try this again. Sorry. This is Color Royale. There's a lot of people on this.
This was Las Cruces, you said?
Yeah, it's DACC. What was it, John? Donna Anya Community College. I think they're both of the teams that submitted videos were from there, right? Yeah. So let's hope the sound isn't out of sync by a minute. So I think this video is 2 minutes long, and then there's one other that's 1 minute long. So it looks like it's multiplayer. I'll just show you.
That's how I run this gun.
Is anyone in the stream? Do you know if they're commenting on this stuff? No, it's fine.
They're just saying, Will Cruces Color Royale LOL.
That sounds about right.
Dummy says, yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's that? The stream, I have no idea how to. All right, this one is called Tower of Putin. Emmanuel, Billy. Yeah, there's a lot of people on this one too. So they had like 2 really big teams then, huh?
Where is this? This is also DACC or is it MSU?
So Michael sent this and said it was from Las Cruces also. So this one's a brawler. And I think that's all we have in the way of presentations. So thanks, everyone.